Tuesday. It's the recall day where we recall Danger Recalls. We're not recalling Danger Recalls. We're recording Danger Recalls, but we're recalling. It's recall day. You get the idea, Dangerlings. Thanks for coming back and joining us. And thank you to my guests for being here. Sounds like the end of the show now, doesn't it? Thank you to my guests, Dan Thompson.
Thank you, Colin. That was the tightest intro you've ever done.
And thank you, Ross Harmston.
Thank you. I'm just having a recorderling while we do this recording of recalling the recall of the Dangerling calling show.
What we're going to do, this show is going to be like Memento. We're going to do everything backwards. So we're going to do our welcome everyone at the end. So we're just going to work backwards throughout this episode, okay? No, we're not going to do that. That would be terrible. Imagine it. Imagine we did that.
Imagine.
How are you doing, Dan? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. Do you remember that Plan B track that he does? Tells the whole story in reverse. That's a great song.
Oh, which one's that? Which one's it?
It's from the first album, from the one when he was a very angry, aggressive rapper before he discovered swing and charts, and became very famous.
Yeah.
It's a great track. There we go. There's another one I have to find out.
Yeah, find that out for us. Yeah, so
that'll be on the recall. The recall. We'll find
recall. Too many recalls. Recall. Ross, what you doing? What's going on?
Nothing. Same old. Not doing anything.
No, that's
I'm
good.
Going to the theatre in a couple of months' time. For the first
time.
Of
months.
Well, yeah, because I had to book it. I had to book it a year ago. It was Back to the Future. Back to the Future, the musical. Going to see that. Got to do weirdly they got to make you do you have to do a test, obviously, and they're like, okay, so what you can do is you can either bring the paper to the venue of your PCR test that says you're negative, or you can do a lateral flow test, take a photo of it being negative and bring that. And I'm like, but you could just find a picture of a negative test and just take that with you. Not that you would, because you'd be stupid if you're one of those people that is positive and goes to a venue and takes a negative test picture, then you're an asshole. But but yeah, I was just like, I mean, it's a good thing, but it's the new world we live in now that we've got to take tests to go places, which is good. I mean, it's a good safety measure. But so I've got to do that.
If you do it, if you adhere to the rules, they're not really rules though. They're just guidelines, aren't they? They're just suggestions. So
maybe do it. Although it did say that you'll be refused entry if you don't.
That's good. I guess some people will kick up a fuss about that. Like, what you mean? I don't want to do that. Which is their prerogative.
My human rights.
Human rights, eh? Who needs them?
Yeah.
Let's not get into that old chestnut, because that's another thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
That's a pub chat, isn't it? That's a 2 beers down chat. That is. We can't. Before we get onto the third beer, where things start getting crazy. Anyway, we're talking about 54. Episode 54. Sorry, which is called Shifty First Dates. Shifty First Dates. Now,
that amazing film with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. How many films have they done together? That's what I want to know.
Is that it?
No, they've done The Wedding Singer.
Was Drew Barrymore? Oh, yes. Yeah. He's losing his mind. And I'm reaping
all the rewards.
Yeah. I can't remember. We referenced that another time. I don't know if that was in our... Oh, no, it was in our social game. Yeah. Why did you put that title, Dan? Is it because you watched an Adam Sandler film?
I confess I have never seen the classic rom-com 50 First Dates. I have, however, seen the Samuel L. Jackson action film 50 First State, which sounds very similar to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but no, it's Creel and Karagor's first date. Karagor has shifty intentions. I felt it was appropriate for the scenario of what was going on there.
Yeah, it was good.
Colin has a focused look, like he's looking up how many movies Drew Barrymore and...
Yeah, I was going to look at that, to be honest. Yeah.
Talk among yourself.
Yeah, I mean, accurate Drew Barrymore trivia. That's what people come to us for.
Robert Carlyle is in 51st Dates.
He is.
Yeah. So...
He is laughing all the way to the bank, Adam Sandler, isn't he? With his like deal that he made with Netflix. He just got a sum of money and then just had to make some average movies. Uncut.
Oh my god! I want to shout out a really, really good podcast, which is called The Worst Idea of All Time, where two comedians commit to watching the film Grown Ups 2 every single week and then recording a podcast reviewing it afterwards every week for a year. It's 52 episodes of these two men gradually going insane and like their friendship almost falling apart because of this, and then coming back and like coming up with new ways to review the same terrible film every single time.
Wait, is this a real thing?
It's a real podcast.
What's it called?
The Worst Idea. It's called The Worst Idea of All Time. They do a second series about about Sex and the City 2, which I didn't think was as good. But the first series about Grown Ups 2 is just, it's brilliant. It's two people reviewing the same movie every week.
Jesus,
That's like Groundhog Day.
That's a great idea, actually. I love the repetition comedy. Like, I love it because it'd be weird when you do things over and over again. Sometimes some things become funny again, and then they stop being funny, and then they get weird, and then it becomes funny. It's such a weird process, isn't it? When you watch things or you listen to things like that again and again and again. And I'm sure that they go through that process, obviously 52 times. Yeah,
just like the Danger Club podcast. It gets weirder and weirder every time you watch it or listen to it. I mean,
just to let you know, Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, they've done 3 films together. They've done The Wedding Singer, 51st Dates in 2004, and Blended, which I'm sure we've all heard of.
Is that the one where he's a chef? Or something.
Don't
the one
know.
Where he puts his hand in a blender by mistake.
All the way.
Divorced Lauren Reynolds goes on a blind date with widower Jim Friedman at Hooters.
Comedy ensues.
It goes poorly.
Nothing says comedy than dead wife.
Greenlit.
Yeah.
Just from that. No, they both fall in the blender. They get blended into a milkshake together. They have to go through life. We're a milkshake. Adam Sandler is a milkshake.
Wow.
It grossed 14.3 million during its opening weekend and 128 million worldwide.
What?
This is why we can't have nice things.
Tweet us, Adam Sandler.
It received generally negative reviews from critics. So there we go. There we go. That's what you need to know about that film. A quick deep dive. Yes, I was Googling that as soon as it came up, Dan. That's what we were doing. All right, so we have the Nate Dogg intro. What made you do this Nate Dogg thing, Dan?
Literally, I'd been listening to Nate Dogg and Warren G on the way in.
Cool.
And I was just thinking, I should have known that there would have been a connection there and you would find it. But just literally before we started, I was like, what are the odds of two people being called something dog? And also, like, they're just so, because Snoop Dogg is like, I guess it's to do with Snoopy, it makes a thing. But Nate Dogg is like, what, are you called Nathan Dogg? Why is like
Yeah. Well, there's a few. They had a little crew called 213. Now, Snoop Dogg was named Snoop Dogg. He was named Snoop Doggy Dogg by his mum, right? His mum used to call him that when he was a kid because he said he had like ears like a dog, and so nicknamed him Snoopy Dogg, right? Doggy Dogg, sorry. He dropped the Snoop Doggy Dogg and became Snoop Dogg after a bit of a lawsuit. Anyway, also there was Warren G was Snoop Dogg's DJ, right? Warren G is Dr. Dre's half brother, right? So that's how Snoop Dogg met Dr. Dre. Warren G put him on. So there you go. And then they came up with the concept of the Dog Pound, right? Which is more of a kind of extended crew, which also involves Nate Dogg, Warren G, Corrupt, Snoop Dogg, but mostly just Corrupt and not Nate Dogg.
So the
I'll come back to that.
What are they? The 312 crew or the
213? Yeah,
213. So the 213 crew, they're like Prussia and then the dog pound is like the Holy Roman Empire.
Dog pound is like an extended crew, really, but mostly it's 2 members, which is Corrupt and Daz.
What? Neither of them are dogs.
Neither of them are dogs.
2 key members of the dog pound are not the 2 dog members.
But people can come and go. So there are honorary members, if you like. Lots of people are involved in the dog pound.
This is outrageous.
This is contagious. So there you go. There's my little deep dive on the dog pound and the dog intro, and there we go. I think it's good to know. And can we just say again, rest in peace, Nate Dogg.
So far, we've done the title of the episode and we've done the intro to the episode.
Hey, that was
11 minutes in.
That was a good deep dive.
Good.
And the debut album by the Dog Pound as well was called Dog Food.
Ah,
so there you go. Yeah,
Dog Food.
Dog Food.
Were they all called dog something? Did they stick to the theme with a dog park?
They didn't. The first song on that album is called DP.
Dogging.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they all go dogging. The first song is called DPG, which is Dog Pound Gangsters. Okay.
I thought, they should have named all them different dog foods, like Baker's, Pedigree, Chum.
Yeah, they missed
James
a trick,
Wobbler.
man. They missed a trick, didn't they? Oh dear. Anyway, and then we talk about other dog rappers like Tim Dog, who again, rest in peace, Tim Dog. Found out that he's passed away actually. I do an impression of Tim Dog, which I'm still very proud of actually. If you listen to Tim Dog and listen to my impression,
we're proud of you for
you'll
it.
hear it. Thank you very much. And then we tweet us London. Let me write this down. London. I think we've tweeted London before, but let's make sure it goes on the list again. So in the last few episodes, we've had McCartney, Alan Moore, Past Us, Miles, and London. And then we big up Rats, which is, which is quite apt, because when you're in London, you're no more than, I think, 6 feet away from a rat.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep. And when you're 6 foot tall, that's terrifying.
Just nibbling at your feet.
Yeah, man. I love the beginning of this episode. I love the sexy music that I found to put underneath this this whole scene. It was so good with the saxophone in the background.
And it worked.
It worked. Yes, the role worked. Oh my God, Dan, how did we succeed?
Failed is saved by 1.
Oh.
DC 14.
Wow.
Not a big number to try and hit for a wizard to try and hit. He got a 13. Oh. That was my only note. My only note for this episode. I got my one note up. My only note is Creel rolled a 13, DC 14. There are no other plans on my behalf from this point on, because I'm just like, if he fails the save, then this episode will just write itself. If he passes the save, then he's just going to leave and we're back to square one and we'll just go back to the old notes. So I was just like, let's just let it roll and see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's all riffing, basically.
It's very much riffing.
Nice.
And then the guy. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Because essentially in this, this episode is kind of Karagor and slightly M versus the rest of the Danger Club. Like Fulton and Shania are very much the monsters in this episode, just trying to derail the plan.
Yeah. I love this dark moment, Dan, where a guy screams out and says, "You're a shit, mate."
Yeah, you only did. Yeah, it was like, you only did a certain amount of time. It was even less than last time.
Yeah. And then Creel has him whacked. Just takes him outside, and we're all like, "Oh God, that was pretty dark." That's proper Breaking Bad, man. Just yeah.
Your new best mate.
Jeez.
Also, it's just the thing I love about this bar is that you just invaded these guys. Like, this pub has locals, like people who've been coming here every night just for their drink and have had to endure you doing the same shit,
the same fucking night. One song over and over again for an hour.
I was gonna say, in the last episode, well, it was kind of the last episode, and in this episode, with Big Mike constantly around where Creel is. It reminded me of the scene in Game of Thrones where Charles Dance is talking, and what's her name? The Arya? No, Aya. She's like pouring Charles Dance a drink, and then in comes Littlefinger, and like she's trying everything to not look and to be caught. I was like, oh shit, that's really like that scene in Game of Thrones, like Big Mike not trying to be seen, but also trying to listen in on the conversation.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Really good comparison. Well done, Ross.
Thanks, mate.
M says the business can wait. And I can't believe Creel was just like, oh, yeah, sure. But this love potion must be fucking good. Because he's like, oh, yeah, sure. We'll just leave all this information that you said you had about this terrorist. And I just want to flirt with this beautiful boy. And they go backstage.
What is the effects are that he's just enamored with Karagor.
Yeah, I think I think mechanically it has like a fascination effect or something. You just look at them, but it's it also flavor text. It says you fall in love with the target, and so it is open to interpretation, which I think you absolutely should have fun with if you have an item like this in it.
Oh my god, yeah, you can just do what you want with it, can't you? Which is such a, as James would put it, a sandbox moment. You know, you're in your sandbox, you haven't weed. It's nice. Shania's just there, apparently, backstage. M goes with him, Fulton's at the door. He's like, Velda, you can't come in. I loved all that. That was great, Ross. Just like, yeah. And then I love the fact that you try and derail the plan from moment one. And you're like, is this man bothering you? Like, oh my God. Yeah, do you remember doing that? Or what did you think when you listened to that?
Because I was into my role of being security. So I was like, is this man bothering you? Because I'll... Imagine if Karagor just went, he is actually. Can you get rid of him? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And then we find out the party's like a fundraiser, and I liked this little. I know I've used it before, and it's a very simple trick if you're doing any sort of music production, Dangerlings. When someone goes into another room and shuts the door, the music just goes a bit like you're underwater, or you're in another room. All you do is you just turn the bass up, turn the treble down, and you get this like it's in the other room. It's really clever, and it's just a really nice effect. And then you do the door opening thing again, and everything kind of comes and really bright again.
That's cool. I like that.
Nice little effect that we use.
Yeah.
Another what if. Could we have actually just gone in? Could we have got into the party as just honorary guests of the charity? Seeing as we,
you'd have needed some, because obviously it's not really for what it is. There's a kind of, you'll spot it later on in the later one. It's the Little Birds Initiative, which is for helping the poor of the poor children of Caermarga. And you find it later on when you finally meet Uncle Good, and his little bird is what he calls Mikey. Little Bird is what he calls his child thieves. So that's what he's raising money for. He's raising money for orphans, but he's raising money to kidnap orphans and turn them into thieves for him. There's a lot of gentleman bastards in this great series of books. I guess you could have. The thing is, he doesn't. You'd need a good reason to go to it. They wouldn't necessarily... If you could convince him that you were like big celebrities who'd stopped the zombie menace, and you might attract big fundraisers to come and go, you might. That would absolutely have been a viable way to come in. The problem with that is that then, of course, you're outed as adventurers. You probably won't get to take your weapons in with you, or you're kind of... you'll be watched very carefully because it's very clear what you are at the time, and also how do you get Mikey in. So it's certainly another way in. They're all viable ways, but it might have been a very different way once you were in there.
Interesting.
Okay. I love this Fulton winking thing. You're just like belatedly weekend, and this is where we see Karagor's eyebrows. This is when it really sort of kicks off, doesn't it? The Karagor eyebrow moment, where he's like dancing his eyebrows around, trying to like give you some sort of signal, and then Shania as well is like, who's this guy? Like throws another spanner in the works, which is great.
And Karagor's just like,
God. Yeah. And I love this bit where you're like, Shaka, do you believe in fate?
Yeah, that was good.
Such a gift, this moment. I think this love potion
it's a nice, like, because I was like, oh yeah, I was like, I don't have to do any, like, Creel doesn't have to resist anything. Creel can give them anything they want at this point, and it'll still be a good scene because everyone else is trying to add complications now. So it's kind of like, I don't need to put any kind of difficulties in here. He will just go for it, and it's that sort of mix of like how far how far into darkness do you go, because Creel's horrible, and it's like, okay, we need to work with him, but how far? That kind of adds a bit of drama to it as well.
And I love this as well, where he's like, I'm the major domo. What's that? It's just a fancy butler, all right? Just has to admit like what he is. That's really fun. And then M steps in, and like even I am starting to throw shit in and just go, by the way, he's not available.
The look of betrayal on Scott's face when you did that.
I just thought, again, like Fulton, getting into your security role, I was getting into the manager role and just being a bit like, I was trying to up the ante and just be like, oh no, he's not available. So Creel goes, no, I must have him. I must. And it didn't really work. And then I just went, oh no, it's all right. I'll cancel the event. we'll come, because I think I saw Scott's wrath on his face. And I was like, oh yeah, I better just backtrack on this. And we get 6 tickets. We get 6 tickets to the event. We get told that we're going to get introduced to Uncle Gooden through the mirror. So this is everything we ever wanted. This is we were succeeding. This love potion.
Which is weird for us, because, we always fail at everything.
And then we get out the magical scrolls to make a contract. And I signed my name, Lemg.
I forgot that. Yeah.
Oh God,
Lemg, guys.
Yeah, Lemg, son of Clem.
Clemg, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was an opportunity here to uncover another important bit about the tower, which was Velda, if he had been in the room, could have made an Arcana check when he got the scrolls out, like on the scrolls that were in his bag, and could have found that he had the teleportation scrolls, which might have been a hint that you might need them later on in the adventure. Unfortunately, he couldn't do this because he'd been thrown out of the room for being an old man by Fulton.
It was such a good bit. But yeah, we again, just Danger Club fucked ourselves at the first, thing. Yeah, idiots. Yeah, and then Shania starts kicking off about her instruments. Again, just another thing that we could have failed on.
But I love it because drums latched onto this being like, my contribution is the hidden bass, is the secret bass. Like that's my my plan. So I'm just going to make very sure that my bit of the plan is going to work. So let's just get that.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
And then Fulton, you come out with just a whole thing. Once Creel leaves, he gets this little napkin from like a little signature from Shaka Bonhaka, and walks out and says this really horrible thing, doesn't he? What does he say? He says, you're much older than my usual fare. What a dick.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Such a dick move.
Move, Creel.
It's gross. It's to be honest, it's probably darker than I would. It's darker than I would like to have gone, and it's darker than I probably would go now. I think it's a very. It's really on the edge of kind of what we do as a show to kind of make hints like that. At that point, I needed to. The main thing was I needed to really reinforce how horrible Creel is and how dangerous Creel is, because it had been quite a fun scene. I was like, you can't go into this thinking that he is the comedy buffoon. Like, you need to know that if you guys end up alone in a room with him in that room, you're probably dead. And there was there's a torture chamber in that in the tower. There's all that, like, he is unbelievably awful. And if he, there's usually the bit in a heist where one person gets found out and then it becomes a rescue. And I'm like, that's on the table as a thing that might happen in this, and you need to be scared of Creel for that to work. So that's why it's kind of like turn the dial up to 11 on the villain meter for him at that point.
Yeah, it was good. It was. I think it was good for the club to know that as well. Fulton, you have a massive drop of information here. Do you remember what it is?
I cannot remember.
Fulton says, I've never even experienced a woman yet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's a virgin. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is it's a nice little trait to play. But yeah, just really funny that you just dropped it out at that moment.
That in there, yeah. Know when to share.
Yeah, it was very good. And then Mike starts talking about disguises, and Mike is like, I could be a catering, face painter, children's entertainer, and like she's just like reading off loads of things. Getting really excited. We get the music cases. Velda has new spells. We all get the feather fall, which is could be that we're useful. Grapple arrows, poisons. We get equipment for the heist, and it's the eve of the party, and we all go shopping.
Shopping episode.
Yeah, we have a girls just want to have fun episode. Yeah,
that bit was like. Before we were like, okay, so April is coming in for this one. We got her for a second day. We only have her for a bit. So I know we want to buy some kits. So I want everyone to look at the book, write down what they're buying, take it off your money, and then we'll literally just go around the table and be like, I bought that, I bought that, I bought that. And that we'll have it done in 30 seconds, and then we can get into it. And we got into it, and everyone's just like, about half the table is like, can I get something in a beige or there's a potion that does that? And it's just everyone's changed their mind about what they want, and we have to do a whole extra little extended shopping bit, which is good because it gave me a chance to look up what the hell poison rules were when April said, because April's the one person who hadn't done it in advance, and then she said the one thing I didn't know, and I had to like Google poisons.
Yeah, I could see you frantically on your tablet just like scrolling trying to find it. Yeah.
So much of GMing is just typing words plus the name of the game you're playing into Google while talking to people.
Yeah. And that's it, really. We go through the gardens. We, we see the dogs that shiver and disappear and like reappear at our feet and stuff. So they look quite menacing. We didn't have to deal with those, did we? On the day,
blink dogs.
They were
Tell us about the blink dangerous, dogs. But yeah, you avoided. You managed to take them out of the equation, which was really, really nice.
Yeah. Could they do some damage? Could they, Dan?
Oh, they're pretty. Well, they can shift into the astral plane, so they can basically teleport. They're teleporting dogs.
Wow.
So
okay.
Fighting those could be a real pain. But they were very much down as a kind of they're a tough fight, but they're one you can overcome, but they're also one that can be avoided. This whole thing is about picking your fights. There are too many fights in this tower to survive, but individual ones of them you can survive. So it's about kind of limiting how many fights you have to have while you're on there. And in the end, you managed to do it really well.
Yeah.
Go on. There's a lovely bit of trivia on this, accidental trivia. And a bit of an edit that I did later on. So there's a really nice sum up right at the end by you, Colin, by M, where he says, so we go in, we play the gig, we find our way to Godden, and we get out. And then you correct, Gooden. And it was like the perfect soundbite, the perfect sum up of what it was, but with the wrong name. And then you said it later. So like when you listen to the recap at the start of the next episode, it's that exact thing, except I've trimmed out Godden and I've put in Gooden from where you said it somewhere else in the episode.
Nice, yeah.
But the interesting thing is, lore as written, he is called Uncle Godden in City of Strangers. That is the NPC's name. I changed it to Gooden just to make it a little more on the nose for us. But yeah, Godden is actually his name in Pathfinder lore.
So a good mistake.
Yeah.
Nice.
Colin was right.
Colin was right.
Get
that shirt on. MZ was right.
Yeah, I'll be dying on that hill quite a lot in future episodes. So we go to the office to meet Creel, and Mike heads to the kitchen. The classical music is... I love the fact that there's like loads of classical music playing, because then we're going to get up and we're going to do the set that we do. And there's like all this lovely classical music, and then we're going to get up and be like, yeah, Destiny's Minnows. And then Caliban with the clay golem turns around and just says, "Hello, I know you." That's not his voice. But yeah, I was worried about that when we played the game. I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's a spanner in the works. Someone recognizing us.
Yeah. Wouldn't be too many. I was like, who have they met who's from high society? Like, who might be at this party?
It's a real
the
clever
Ardocs
thing.
are prime candidates for it because they sell golems. They're incredibly wealthy. And Shania flirted with him.
Yeah.
So it's like, he will definitely remember her.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, is this the one... Or did we do it earlier on? I don't know. Did we start doing... I thought this is the one where we started going, I could do this all day. Where was that? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Obviously, there was something I listened to earlier today, and I've forgotten what it was. So let's cut this bit.
You got it.
Well, there you go, Dangerlings. That is episode 54, Shifty First Dates. We don't know what's going to happen because we haven't listened to episode 55 yet. I mean, we have, but we haven't. But we're going to find out what happens in episode 55 next week. Join us on the Danger Recall channel. Go to Discord, go to Facebook and Twitter and everything, and just, connect with us. We are there. Discord's a nice place. So come and join us over there, have a chat with us. Thank you so much to my guests this week. Thank you to Dan Thompson.
Thank you very much, Colin.
Thank you, Ross Harmston.
Thank you, Colin.
And thank you to the Danger Club that are not here. That's James, that's Scott, that's Drum, and that's April Hughes. Bye, Dangerlings.
Bye.
Bye.